Welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Today I'm gonna try out Zibai, the White Horse Adeptus, our newest 5-star character and our first Lunar-Crystallize DPS, who hopefully is gonna be really good for my free-to-play account here, because I don't have a GU DPS or a Lunar DPS yet. Well, until now, because now Zibai is here. So yeah, let's go take a look at her build. My Zibai has 2500 defense, 380 elemental mastery, and a crit ratio of 49 to 198. This 49 is actually gonna be 79 in battle because of the artifacts that she has, the Knight of the Skies Unveiling. And also crit damage is still gonna be a bit higher after I get to level 90, because that's her ascension stat. So she is gonna be over 200. I just wasn't able to get to level 90 yet, because I also at the same time as her had to build Illuga and Gorou. We're gonna talk about them in a second. But yeah, the weapon I'm using on her is the Flute of Etzpitzal, which is a craftable weapon. She has pretty good free-to-play options, like the Harbinger of Dawn also works pretty well on her. So no need to roll for a signature weapon, though of course that is her best one, definitely. And then the artifacts, like I already mentioned, Knight of Skies Unveiling. For those of you who've seen my Zibai farming video, you may be wondering how I have a 4-piece set of this, because at the end of that farming video, I had a 2-piece Knight of Skies Unveiling and 2-piece Husk, because I wasn't able to get a full Knight set. And the thing is, I still don't have a defense sense, but I did have a pretty decent Elemental Mastery one that had double crit and defense percent in the substats, and Elemental Mastery is basically the second best main stat here after defense. I'm still gonna try to get a defense sense in the future, but with this sense here, the build is actually decent, so I decided it's worth it for the 4-piece effect of Knight of Skies Unveiling. And yeah, the reason why Elemental Mastery actually works here is because most of her damage is Lunar-Crystallize damage, and that gets influenced by Elemental Mastery, even though it mainly scales off defense in her case. But I also still had to create a goblet with Sanctifying Elixirs to make this work. And the circlet is a crit damage off piece with crit rate, Elemental Mastery, and defense. And then the flower and feather look like this. Those are the same ones as in the farming video. The flower especially rolled really well. It has over 40 crit value. Rolled exclusively into crit. Then as for the constellation, she is Z0, and the talents are at level 6, 8, and 7, with the skill obviously being the most important, since her infused normal attacks actually scale with the skill here. So you don't really need to level the normal attacks at all, but I just like to have every talent at least level 6. It just feels wrong to have a character fully built but have the normal attack at level 1. So, that's my Zibai, but this video is actually not just gonna be a Zibai showcase, but also kind of a Illuga showcase, since you kind of really want to play them together. There's really no point in playing Zibai without Illuga or Columbina, but I don't have Columbina on this account. And at the same time, Illuga basically just supports Zibai and no one else really. Usually I do the showcases separately for new characters, not together. But since they are so linked to each other with the kids, I don't really think there's a point in doing an additional showcase just for Illuga. So let's go over his build real quick as well. He has almost 600 elemental mastery. It could be more, but I ran out of Mora to level up all his artifacts, so they are not all level 20. And he also has 41 crit rate. Since I'm using Favonius on him, I try to get a bit of crit rate as well. And 165 energy recharge, which is also gonna be more after I'm done fully building him, because his weapon, for example, is not leveled up. So he's gonna get some more energy recharge from here. And of course, like I said, the artifacts also not fully leveled up. So there's potential for some more energy recharge rolls here as well. Of course, focused on EM, ER, and crit rate, as you can see, with triple EM main stats here. And the set he's using is, of course, the 4-piece Silken Moon Serenade to buff Elemental Mastery for the team. And yeah, talking about Silken Moon Serenade, at C0, which he's currently still at, he can't actually really use this because this effect only lasts 8 seconds, and he can't activate this from off-field. So you activate it when he's on-field and does his stuff, and then you have it for 8 seconds, and then it's gone. But his C2 kind of fixes that, because that allows him to also do some damage from off-field, so he can repeatedly activate Silken Moon Serenade and have 100% uptime. So because of that, I'm just gonna activate his constellations right away. The first one gives him some energy, so it's also pretty nice. So yeah, let's do this. C1, C2. There we go. And as for the talents, they are currently at 2, 2, and 6. And yeah, the level only 70, because he's still work in progress. Same for Gorou, by the way. I also just started building him. He's only level 60. And I mainly just focused on getting him a bunch of energy recharge for now. And have his talent at level 9. so he's not gonna be completely useless. He also is C6, and the C6 gives a lot of crit damage. And yeah, the artifacts that I'm using is 4-piece Excel, but as you can see, they're not all leveled up. Also, very much work in progress. Favonius Warbow, so yeah. But it should be fine. He should still do his job. So with that all being said, let's talk about teams now. So the one I'm using right here, as you can see, is Barbara, Illuga, Gorou, Zibai. Illuga, of course, being Zibai's best 4-star support, and Gorou, of course, buffs defense, which Zibai scales off, and also buffs crit damage for geo attacks with the C6. So these two are here to buff her. So why Barbara? Well, because I kind of need a sustain in this team. If I used Aino here, which is of course an option, then I don't have a sustain. Unless you count Gorou, who does do a little bit of healing with his C4, I think. But it's not much. Not enough to keep the team alive in like endgame. I'm definitely gonna try this later on, but first I wanna see if it also works with Barbara. Or I guess we could use Xingqiu as well. He also heals a little bit. And Zibai can probably trigger his ranged swords with her normal attacks. Yeah, I'm gonna try this as well, but first let's go with Barbara here. See if her Hydra application is actually enough for this, and then we can still try out some other teams. And as usual, I'm first gonna try out the new characters with Masanori here. I know the test dummy exists, before anyone asks in the comments again, like on my last few showcases, and I'm probably gonna go to the test dummy later on to try out there, but I just like testing characters in, you know, real combat, where the enemy is actually trying to kill you, instead of just standing there and taking the damage. So yeah, let's go and do this. Now, let's try Zibai out on her own first. And of course, she's mainly a normal attacker, but her actual normal attacks are not doing much. But when you use the skill, then they get infused, and then every 4th normal attack, she also does some Lunar-Crystallize. Yeah, there we go. That didn't crit though. There we got a crit, 12k, not bad. And then, when she has enough points there on the left, she can use a special elemental skill like this. 58k, okay. Without any buffs, that's actually pretty good. Basically, you just use skill, then normal attack, until you get to 70 of those points, then use the special skill, and then you normal attack again. Rinse and repeat. And yeah, this gauge actually fills up faster when you do actual Lunar-Crystallize reactions with the rest of the team, which we didn't do here, of course. So let's throw Barbara in the mix. Apply some Hydro. And now we do this, and immediately we got a lot of points there. So we get skill early, and this was, I think, 80k if I saw it correctly. Yeah, not bad. And now we should also have the additional crit rate because we triggered Lunar-Crystallize. Yeah, now it's 79. Perfect. And yeah, the damage is already pretty good. Yeah, I think I saw another 77k there, and Masanori is dead. And we didn't even use Illuga and Gorou yet. So yeah, so far she actually seems pretty good. And also it's a lot of fun. I love normal attacking characters. But yeah, let's actually go with the full team now and see how fast we can kill Masanori. And if Barbara's elemental skill is actually enough Hydra application here. So first we do this, then we activate Illuga's buffs, Gorou's buffs. Ow. And then Zibai. Let's see. Yeah, we're already doing really good damage. That was 145k. So did I see that right? Yeah, 145k again on the skill. And he's already dead. Oh my god. With just 3 skills. Didn't even need the 4th one. You can do up to 4 per rotation, but we didn't need 4. 3 was enough. So yeah, as expected, she's really good. I mean, she is the newest DPS, so of course she is. And even with just a 4-star team here, you can already see that she's putting out huge amounts of damage. Now, looking at the right, it seems like Gorou didn't get his burst back. Okay, so maybe we need some more energy recharge on him still. But I'm probably gonna be fine if I just keep leveling up his weapon. Now, let's replace Barbara with Xingqiu and see if Zibai can actually activate his rain swords with the infused normal attacks. I mean, she should be able to, but it could also be that it counts as elemental skill attacks. But no, it says in the kit normal attack, so it should work. Let's get some energy. There we go. Like this. And yeah, it does work. Okay, yeah, as expected. And we are still doing the same damage pretty much, since Xingqiu and Barbara both don't really buff her. And yeah, again, 3 skills were enough. But the overall team damage should definitely be high with Xingqiu, since he is actually doing damage, contrary to Barbara. But yet Zibai's damage is the same. Okay, anyway, Masanori is obviously not strong enough, so our next stop before the test dummy is Kongamato here in Natlan, with his 1.6 million HP. I wanna see how fast Zibai can kill him. So let's go and find out. Here we go. Yeah, pretty good damage. I think one rotation is not gonna be quite enough. Let's see what her elemental burst is doing. Okay, I think I saw 120k there. Let's restart the rotation. Okay, got Illuga's burst back, no problem. Gorou still struggling with energy, but he's close enough that if I level up his weapon fully, it should definitely be enough that he gets his burst off cooldown, and there we go. Yeah, so it was like 1.5 rotations. Pretty good overall, considering that most of this team isn't fully built yet. Very work in progress builds, and already we almost killed him in one rotation. The tankiest boss in the overworld. And we can actually see here on the bottom right that Zibai is slowly gaining energy, which is pretty nice. She has a passive that does that. Any moment she gets a burst, without us needing to do anything. There we go. That's pretty nice for overworld exploration. It doesn't work in endgame modes though, as far as I know. And yeah, talking about her burst, I only used it one time so far, and I didn't quite see the damage number. I think it was 120k, but I want to see this again. So yeah, let's fight Kongamato one more time. I also used the burst towards the end of the rotation, so some of the buffs might have already run out. So maybe 120k wasn't even the highest damage we could get here. So yeah, let's just try this again. Why not? There we go. Come on, Gorou, get your burst. There we go. Okay, and that was 140k now, I think. Yeah, not bad at all. So I guess the Lunar-Crystallize damage from the burst is about the same as from her special skill. Though of course you can use the special skill a lot more frequently. But it definitely is worth it to throw in a burst once in a while, when you have enough energy. Right, let's finish him off. And then I guess it's finally time to go to the test dummy to see the actual DPS of this team. Okay, one more burst. 135k, okay. So you were getting pretty consistently between like 120 and 140k with the burst. And the special skill, if we have all the buffs, does like 145k. Okay, now as promised, let's go to the test dummy in Miliastra Wonderland to see an actual breakdown of the numbers. Let's go with the same team as before, Jingzhou. We could also actually use Aino now, since we don't need a sustain here. But I first just want to see the Jingzhou variant of this team. And then we can still try Aino later. Set the timer to 60 seconds. That's what I usually do. And now, start. Okay, let's see. How much are we gonna do here? Okay, over 30k so far. Over 40k. Over 50k. So far, so good. Yeah, now we're struggling with energy. We didn't get Gorou's burst there. That's bad. And now Illuga also doesn't have his burst. Okay, there we go. Come on, one more rotation. 44k. I'm pretty sure we could get over 50k if Gorou got his burst in the second rotation. So yeah, struggling a bit with energy. And of course it's nowhere near the damage numbers we would have here with Columbina, for example. Or a C6 Illuga instead of just C2. There's definitely still a lot of room for improvement. I think if I just fully build all these characters, Illuga, Gorou and Zibai, I'm definitely going to be able to get over 60k. For now I would just be happy with 50k. If we actually take a look at the damage distribution, yeah, of course, by far the most damage comes from Zibai here. Let's try this one more time, because I'm pretty sure we can reach 50k. Yeah, I already have a feeling that this one is going better. Let's also throw the burst in there. Didn't do that last time. Come on, Gorou. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got over 50k this time. 51k. I knew it was possible. So yeah, with fully built characters, we would definitely get over 60k. Now let's try the same team but with Aino instead of Chingcho. My Aino is C1 on this account, so she gives an additional 80 elemental mastery to the active character, which should increase the US damage by a bit. But is it gonna be enough to make up for the loss of Chingcho's sub DPS? Because Aino herself is not really doing any damage. Also, I could get more out of her if I built her with like Instructor. Currently she has Silk Moon Serenite, same as Illuga, and it doesn't stack. So that's kind of suboptimal. But I don't have an Instructor build prepared for her. So just have to make do with this for now. But yeah, let's just see how this goes. Okay, over 40k. Oh, we're struggling with energy here, and I know that's not good. And Gorou also doesn't have his burst again. Yeah, energy is still kind of a problem. But we are still almost at 50k here. Ah, didn't get enough energy again. Yeah, and that is of course a huge DPS loss if we don't have our bursts ready. And now we didn't even reach 40k. That's mainly because of the energy problems. If we had gotten all our bursts in time for every rotation, then that definitely would have been over 40k. Probably close to 50k again. Much like with Chingcho. But Chingcho has the advantage that he just generates more particles than Aino. So that helps a bit as well. Though my Aino is holding Favonius Greatsword right now. But she doesn't have much crit rates, so we would have to get lucky. Let's do one more run. Wow, that was even worse than before, even though we got some of Favonius procs, I think. Let's try this one more time. We can definitely get over 40k with this team. It should be possible. Let's just do this. Bit of a different rotation, but maybe that's actually gonna be better. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a lot better now. Come on, get your burst, I know. There we go. Yeah, 46k. Okay, yeah, just had to switch the rotation up a little bit. I think in the last few attempts Aino's burst ran out too quick, so it took me a bit longer to get the last special skill for Zibai, because we had less Lunar-Crystallize. So by using Aino later in the rotation, we're actually able to solve that problem, and that actually pushed us to 46k. So yeah, just a small change in the order in which you use the characters can already make a big difference. But yeah, overall I would say Zibai is definitely a really good character if you have some decent supports for her, like Illuga and C6 Gorou. I'm maybe even gonna try to get some more Illuga constellations, since his C6 is also huge for her. But she definitely works, especially considering that she isn't even fully built yet, and neither is Illuga nor Gorou, and already they are killing Kongamato in basically just one rotation. Little bit over one rotation. So yeah, can't wait to see what Zibai can do when I'm finally done building her and when she has a defense stance and properly built supports. I'm probably gonna make a follow-up video then, but for now I'm pretty happy with her. She's definitely a lot of fun to play. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like, comment and subscribe for more Genshin Impact and other gacha content. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.